Welcome back to another episode of Between Two Vulns. I'm Marcello, this is Dan, and we officially allowed celebrities now on the show. We decided that we will allow celebrities finally. So Taylor Swift, hoping to get you on next time. What do we got?
She'll call us back.
Yeah, she'll call us back. Yeah, 100%. I'm sure we'll get her on here ASAP.
And if not her, then Swift on security is good enough for me.
That is actually a very, very good replacement for the actual Taylor Swift. So we got a lot of news since last time we were on the show. Llama 4 was released. Gemini 2.5 came out. DeepSeek version 3, and then MCP is basically the second coming of Jesus Christ at this point for some reason on Twitter.
The last couple months I've just had MCP servers everywhere in the news and on Twitter. Yeah,
pretty much. And so let's start with Llama 4, shall we? So this has been a very controversial Llama release. So basically what happened was that they released a bunch of different versions of the Llama model, the biggest one being Llama Behemoth, if I recall correctly, which, okay, it's a thick llama, I guess. And it's trained on a crazy amount of billions of parameters. Now, the biggest issue that I've seen in terms of criticism for this release is that none of these models can be used on consumer-grade GPUs. Which kind of defeats the purpose of the Llama model, because from at least my understanding, like the entire point of Llama is not only is it open weights and open source, but regular people, basically with regular hardware, could run the models locally, which you can't do anymore with the new with the new releases here.
They're releasing all these new supercomputers. Like NVIDIA's got that $10,000 one that can maybe run Llama.
Yeah, but I think like the biggest, like even I don't think you wouldn't be able to run the Behemoth one. It's a 288 billion parameter model with a mixture of experts. I don't think you'd be able to run that even on that. I think you need at least like up 4 or 5 HX, what is it? HX? Sorry, HX. Those aren't letters. HX 100 GPUs to run this, if I recall correctly. But there's a lot of drama. There's also a lot of other drama. Like apparently, they claimed a 10 million token context window, but they actually trained it on only 256,000 tokens, which basically means that you even sure it supports 10 million context window, but anything past 256K, they don't really guarantee the model will be able to handle it. So it's like almost like a fake thing. It's not like sure you can put
marketing thing.
Yeah, you can put like 10 million tokens worth of information in the context window, but like anything past 256K, the model isn't guaranteed to actually process or interpret it or anything.
And there's some controversy that the benchmarks they're using are actually just kind of gamed.
Yes. Yeah, that's another thing I was actually going to get into, because apparently they use a special experimental version for the LM Arena that was not released, and that's why the discrepancy is what causing like the benchmarks in the LM Arena versus real world usage from people. And moving on, Gemini 2.5 came out, which is a huge deal. I think it's currently like #1 in the LLM leaderboard, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Really, really good.
And it's cheap. It's like the cheapest one.
Cheapest one. Very easy to get started with. There's a lot of criticism about Gemini 2.5 though, because it does excel in coding tasks, but it can add like unnecessary comments and requires super, super, super careful prompting. So it's like a very particular quirky model. But if you do get the prompting right, it can technically surpass like Sonnet 3.7 in terms of like coding capabilities. So that's an interesting, and I've run into this myself.
And so Sam Altman came out and said he's going to be releasing GPT-5 sometime in the next few months. He's also going to release an open source version of probably 4.0 or 4.
If I had to guess, it'd probably be 4.0.
Yeah. So I'm excited for GPT-5. I think that's going to be a big change for agents. I think it's the reasoning capabilities and the intelligence of GPT-5 is likely going to be a tipping point for agents to actually be consistent. Because right now, you can use them for very narrow tasks. Agents that do things like visit a website and fill in some information and then, move on. Narrow, focused tasks, they're very good at today. But I think we're going to see a much broader application of them, where that you can give them a general question and they'll be able to go out and do research on it and then book your flight and then book your hotel and do things that are like an assistant would.
And then finally, MCP. MCP has been everywhere. So for those of you unfamiliar with what MCP is, that stands for Model Context Protocol. And what this essentially is a standard, protocol that LLMs can use to communicate with APIs, basically. So it sits between your LLM and other APIs, and LLMs can talk to the MCP server to query certain APIs or perform certain actions. The MCP server does that and gives back the output to the API. Basically.
Yeah, so MCP servers are everywhere, and I keep seeing this comment saying, I keep reading about MCP servers, and I'm afraid to ask what they actually are at this point. Yeah. It's very simple. They just make it easy to connect to other services with your LLM.
It's actually a defined protocol, like the Anthropic people came up with it, like there's a spec online
and everything. It's very, very useful. So I'm actually going to show you some examples here of how this works. Yeah. So I'm going to start off with talking about Cursor. Now, this is not a corporate endorsement by any means. This is just my personal opinion. Is I really like Cursor. It's an integrated development environment that you can see on my screen here. You can just ask it to do stuff like, hey, create an entire beautiful web app that talks crap about AI.
Yeah, perfect.
And then I'm going to use the agent. The agent is amazing. It can like read your file systems. It can just edit all sorts of different things. It's not just editing one file. So if I just hit enter on this, then I'm using Gemini 2.5 Pro. Now, Gemini 2.5 Pro is really good at code, and now this is what it's thinking about right now. The user wants to create a beautiful web app that talks crap about AI. This is a creative and somewhat something subject. So it's going to start creating these files, and then I'll just hit accept like a million times. So this is fascinating. This is probably the most used agent in the world right now. Like, I don't know what other agents there are that a lot of people are using, but code writing agents are exceptional. Now, what you can do though is add MCP servers to Cursor or whatever, application you want to use with an LLM. So in this case, I'm actually going to show you Claude Desktop, because it's very easy to add MCP servers to Claude Desktop. This little hammer here shows all the MCP for servers available, and it's really easy to install them. You just end up opening up the config file, and then you just add your MCP servers to the config file. So it says MCP servers, I added browser MCP, and I added file system MCP. Browser MCP lets you control your browser using the LLM, and file system lets you control your file system, obviously. So let me show you what this looks like in action. What are the contents of hello.txt? And you'll notice in my config file, I have users Dan macaroni research tests is within the file system commands. We're going to allow this for the chat. And now the LM, allow for chat. Allow for chat.
Yeah, you got a security.
Great, he found it. Okay. Here's the context of hello.txt. So you can do stuff like file system management. It has access to all your files. Makes it very useful when you're doing stuff locally and you have like a CSV file of your budget and you want Claude or something to go access that CSV file and do something with it. Now you don't have to like copy and paste the contents in. It'll just go out and hunt it down. Very, very helpful. Let's go back to Cursor. It built a web application for me by me just saying, hey, I want you to build this website that talks crap about AI and then make it super sleek and modern and everything. So let's see what it actually built for me. This is a one-shot website that I just built. And I think it looks really nice. Submit your own AI fail. Artificially unintelligent project. So people are actually using Cursor to do what's called vibe coding. We've talked about this before. One of the big things that they do in vibe coding is make games. It's really good at making games. Anytime you just want to make your own game, like you're blocked on your high school network from crazygames.com or whatever, then you can just go to Cursor Agent and just make your own game using 3JS, which is a 3D JavaScript library. You can build anything that you can imagine, and you just type it in, and it just spits it out. It creates all the files and everything. It is phenomenal, and it goes even farther once you attach MCP servers to it. So I hope it's cleared up what an MCP server is and like how to use it, what the use cases are. It's not a complicated thing. It's just attaching extra power onto an LLM.
Yeah, it's basically an API that talks to other APIs.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is.
So you don't have to define every API call yourself.
Yeah,
it's already done that. You can do things like connect Gmail to it, connect Slack to it. So if you want to pretend like you're working, you just connect a little MCP server to Slack and tell the LLM that whenever you get a response from my boss, please tell him I'm hard at work and I'm very busy, or say my stomach is upset and I can't talk right now. Yeah. Either one of those works just fine.
There's already I saw a few MCP servers for WhatsApp, for example, which was interesting. I wanted to play around with that. That sounds like a fun one.
Oh man, a Tinder MCP server.
Yeah,
just have an
MCP
LLM.
server.
All right, continue swiping.
That would be very interesting.
Here's a picture of my ideal girl. Only swipe if you have a confidence score of 7 or above that the girl in the picture is as pretty as the girl that I have given you as an example. Use your best judgment on what to say to them, but be very
These
kind.
views aren't endorsed by Protect AI.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing we say is endorsed.
Endorsed,
by
yeah,
Protect
and
AI, to be
actually,
perfectly honest.
I don't even know why we're here. I don't even know if we're allowed here, to be honest. And with that, I think we're ending this episode. So remember to smash that subscribe button and use your MCP servers to write a bot that smashes the subscribe button as well.
That'd be wonderful.
That would be something.
From a unique IP every time.
Yeah, from a unique IP every time. These views are not endorsed by Protect AI. And with that, I think we'll call it this episode and see you next time.
See ya.